Hey, what are you doing here? Welcome to F Your Business Podcast.
To serve great food is to create memories for your customers.
But it takes more than luck.
It takes consistency, creativity, and the drive to see things through.
And every day, the stakes are high, which means it's time to stand up
from your computer and start getting real. To own your kitchen is to own your bottom line.
This is the real world. And now...
This is the real world. And now...
This is the real world.
And now is the time to foodify your business.
Welcome back to F Your Business Podcast. Again, on site, we're going to get some groceries for today's challenge. Chris, what are we doing today?
Oh, today, we're taking on a tough one. We're going with the guacamole challenge. Guacamole has become very common here, right? It's everywhere. So we want to prove that our fresh guacamole is not only better, but cheaper than prepackaged. You can make it yourself. It's not labor intensive at all. So we're going to prove that to you today.
Yeah, so we're going to grab those fresh ingredients, and then we're going to hit the kitchen.
That's it. Yep. So we're going to go shopping. We got our list. We'll see you inside. All right, here we are inside, working on our shopping list. We got our avocados. This has got a nice give to it, nice and ripe, ready to go. Same with the tomatoes we have. Here they go. They got the give, nice and ripe, going to be sweet, going to be delicious. We're going to keep on shopping. Come with us. All right, we got a few more items. We got our limes, nice and juicy, look good. We got this beautiful cilantro. We got to pick up a couple more items. We got some garlic here. So we got almost everything we need. We just got to get another onion or two, another item or two, and we'll be in the kitchen. So we'll see you soon. Meet you in the kitchen.
We are now back in the kitchen. We got all of our fresh ingredients, and they look great.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Only thing missing from the table is our nice cilantro. That's because obviously you have to rinse it. We're letting it dry. Everything else is here. Here's all the tools you need. This is it. This is a simple process. You don't need much, to make this happen. What do you got for us, Scott? I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to take a shot. All right. This was created in South America. Most likely, I don't know, Mexico?
I would say Chris is
either
did his homework or he's got some solid knowledge of the history of guacamole. But yes, so way back, a little further than a lot of things we talked about. We 1500s in Central America, like you said, by the Aztecs. It was called guacamole. So the mole part would be something mashed. The guaca would be them referring to the avocados. So that's how it started. Much probably even simpler, very simple back then. Avocados, tomatoes, chilies. And it really wasn't until like the Spanish kind of came into it.
Quick question.
Yes.
Because everything we've done so far has been an accident. Did they mean to make guacamole or were they trying to make something else?
I don't think it was an accident. They really enjoyed the avocados. Obviously, in the Aztec, in that area, that was probably like the favorite fruit. So they were accessible. So no, I would say this one probably wasn't an accident.
Gotcha.
Like I said, as then, Spaniards kind of came there, they started adding ingredients like onions, cilantro, lime juice to kick it up to more to the guacamole that we're used to today.
Right. Yeah.
That's very
More
popular.
traditional.
I think that's the part of it.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. On every menu.
Yeah, from, it's not just chips and guacamole anymore, right? It's on burgers.
Right.
It's on salads. It's
stuffed in chicken. It's everywhere. It's a great item, right? It's a great food cost item. So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to bore you with all the dicing and chopping. And we're going to take care of that now. And then we're going to have you come back when we're ready to mix it all together. So I just need to make sure Scott doesn't dirty his clothes here. I got him an apron. So I'm going to hit the gym, and you're going to take care of this, right?
I didn't bring my chef coat today, and I thought I was just here for the fun facts. I don't know. I think we might need to leave the heavy lifting to you.
Chris. All right? Here, give it back. Maybe you go to the gym, I'll stay here.
That probably makes more sense.
All right, we'll see you back here shortly.
All right, so this is F Your Business Podcast brought to you by the Largo Group. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Follow our pages. You'll see short videos through between podcasts. And Whew, that was exhausting watching Chris cut all these ingredients up. Woo.
Your feet hurt from standing there.
Wow. So we do have all these fresh straight ingredients. We saved a couple things so Chris can help you see what he's been doing here and making them look so pretty. So what do you got going on here?
All right, so here we go. We use the Roma tomatoes. Is what you want to do. You know, we want to get rid of the seeds, and then we just want to dice them nice and small, right? Nice small dices. We don't want anything too big. You know. This could already be prepared on your stations. It's not something that has to be prepared at the time. And the avocado. 1 second, clear my knife. What you do is you make dices inside here. Just dice it through. Use a spoon. It all comes out. This is going to give you a good texture in there. If you didn't do this, if you just took the whole avocado and scooped it out, you're going to get more of a creamy texture. But we're going for more of a, chunkier texture. Texture is good when you're eating food, right? You don't want to, even mashed potatoes, you don't want mashed potatoes to be just, mashed. It doesn't give you good texture, right? You want a little lumpy. That's how you know to homemade.
All right, so for this recipe, we're going with 8 avocados. So 8 avocados.
8 avocados here. All right. We're going to go with lime juice. Very important.
All right, so that's going to be 4 limes that we squeezed into that.
We're going with the Roma tomatoes diced.
Yes, we use 6 Roma tomatoes. Again, all this will be up on the website, so you can check out Chris's guacamole recipe.
We got the red onion diced. Finely diced. Everything's finely diced.
Yeah, so for this will be like a medium-sized onion for this batch we're making.
We have the jalapeno.
We use 2 jalapenos.
And what do we do, Scott?
A little secret recipe for Chris is, to keep the heat down a little bit. We did pull all the seeds out of one of them.
Right.
So depending on how hot you want it, if you want it a little hotter, leave the seeds in both. If you don't want it hot, take them out of both. But nice little trick of the trade that Chris taught us when he was making it.
And we have the garlic.
All right, so that was 2 cloves of garlic and then 1 bunch of cilantro.
Right. It's a small to medium bunch. If it's a large bunch, I won't go with the whole thing. So that's what we got here. Looks great. The colors are amazing. Now we start with a fork, okay? And we just start forking it up.
That looks great.
Give it a little mash.
Colors are super vibrant. You can see each ingredient. They're all those nice dice cut pieces, so you're going to get that texture that Chris was talking about. It's not going to be just kind of a mushy guacamole paste, I guess, that you kind of see sometimes. And like Chris said, this is something very simple that you could make to order at the table because you probably have your diced tomatoes, your diced onions, you have garlic, you have all these things on your line probably already in some capacity.
Sure. That
you're really just bringing avocados out with some other ingredients and you're making it to the...
You can make it to order. Everything else is going to be on your line. It's not rocket science, right? So we're going to add a little bit of salt. Again, it's a salt to taste. You add it. You see what you got. It's usually about a teaspoon. Some fresh crushed pepper. All right. Give it a good mix.
And it's really important as you're adding that salt and pepper to be kind of tasting it at you, the chef, because again, depending on the size of an avocado, depending on the heat of a jalapeno, the size of any of those things could really adjust flavor. So I think that's part of the thing. There's not going to be just an exact measurement to use. So start with a little bit of salt, pepper. You can always add a little bit more in, and adjust to get that flavor that you're looking for your restaurant. At a first look, this looks like it should dominate in today's competition because it looks awesome.
Come on, how hard was that? How hard was that? Right? You have everything on your line except the avocado prepared. When it comes time, Depending on how you're doing, if it's one avocado, two avocados, whatever your size is going to be, at that point, you just open them up, slice them, dice it inside, spoon it, add everything in. Within 2 minutes, this is going out. Quick appetizer, fast, and if it's on the menu, trust me, no one's going to pass it up.
We had talked a lot about adding food menus. So let's say this is a great happy hour edition if we're trying to add something to that.
Right.
We're a brewery and we're trying to add some quick snacks. How easy is this? We didn't need an oven. We didn't need to cook anything.
Right.
We were able to make something up, and it's going to complement your beverage that you're already serving. We've talked about summer and limited time offer. Again, a great item, fresh, cool, that you can add in the summer menu to a lot of different add-ons to your menu.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it earlier. It doesn't have to go in a bowl with chips, right? It could be, you grill a piece of chicken and you're putting some guacamole right over top of it. A lot of people are slicing the chicken breast and they're stuffing it inside. So there's a lot you can do with it. It could go on a taco. I mean, you could use it in multiple ways. Quesadillas, anything. It's so versatile that and inexpensive. It's really going to help your margins. It's a shame not to use it.
Yeah, especially because when you have an add-on to your menu of whatever price you're going to add, whether it's $2 or $1.50, like you said, it's a great margin, and that can just be to add on to a turkey claw that you already have on the menu, or it could be on any sort of salad you already have. This could be a little addition, and I think it's going to be a great visual part to your menu item already. Like I said, the great financial. We'll talk about food costs, and it's going to taste really good.
It's going to taste great. It's all fresh ingredients made for you right now, not packaged into something and stuck in the refrigerator for God knows how long. Right? This was made for you today. You can do it table side. Everything's already diced up ready. Only thing you're going to do is do the avocado table side, smash it up, boom, just like I did right there.
And you saw how easy that was if you're watching on a YouTube video. Right. If not, I mean, it was just in the bowl. Any server or food runner could easily be taught the technique of just using your hands, a fork, getting that to the guest or customer right there. It adds that visual. Again, the table next to that, they're watching this happen. It becomes an easy add-on, upsell to them. And again, it's a perfect ingredient to add on, as whether it's a limited time offer or just getting onto your menu in general. Right. Either way, you can't lose.
Can't lose. Listen, table side's the best way, right? People are going to see it and want to order. Even if you don't go table side, and it's on the menu, it's a great starter. People love that. But the table side idea I love, because if you ever go to a restaurant and they do a Caesar salad table side, you got to get it. How do you not get it?
I agree.
Right? It'll be the same thing, and it could be talking to town. They do this great guacamole table side. And it's going to be, we're going to do the math later. I'm telling you now, this is going to be one of the food cost items that are down in the low 20s.
Yeah, so I agree. We're going to get to the numbers. We're going to get it to the group and get the taste test. And once we have those results, we'll be back on to give you the results of how the taste test went. But I mean, it looks pretty good.
I'm going to go eat lunch. Scott, can you whip up those batch for taste test?
Yeah, I got the little, we can use a little bit of scraps left in here.
All right, this is lunch for us. We'll see you guys in a little bit with the results.
All right, so we're talking guacamole, a big challenge this week.
Very big.
And a big win for Chris. Chris is, it's hard to get his head in the door after that.
I'm almost speechless at this point. It was 13-0. And, listen, people like this, different textures when it comes to guacamole, right? I'm more of a texture person, so I didn't mash them all the way. I left them all lumpy. I thought that might bother some people, but it didn't. Because the one from the store was it was like a puree. It was just, it's like eating baby food. Yeah. So, and it didn't have much flavor either. I mean, the one we made was popping with flavor. So it was an easy win.
The one we got from the store was a very high recommended brand. I mean,
That's what the best was.
Yeah.
They gave us the best they had in the store, the best seller, and we demolished it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I think for this one, visually, you could tell right away, right? Like you knew right away which one was yours. Like you said, even if you weren't into like the visual aspect of it, I think there was definitely an element of the one from the store just being very runny. Like it was more bland. And freshness makes a difference, right? When you're having a guacamole, you want fresh ingredients. You can taste the difference.
That's why, for me, the big thing is, we were talking about this when we were making it. Tableside guacamole, right? If you go to a restaurant, they do tableside Caesar salad. They're like, oh, we got to get that. We got to get Caesar salad, right? Tableside. Guacamole is the same thing, and it actually costs less to make a guacamole tableside than with a Caesar salad, right? I mean, we'll get into the cost, but it's less than a 10% food cost.
Yeah.
So that's helping your margins. If you have on your menu something that's 35 or more percent, 35, 36%, this is all of a sudden that's helping that out, right? So, and it's a fresh item, it's a great item. Nobody's going to pass it up, and it's going to make them happy. They're going to get a great product.
Yeah, and it reminded me too, and I think this is kind of one of those things that changes in times. I mean, I remember I think in '08 the idea was having less expensive appetizers or items on your menu, like something that people could come in and order with a drink without breaking the bank. And I think a lot of times people have gone away from the idea of chips and salsa. But I know Scott has kids, I have kids. I mean, that's what they want. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't care if you're at like an American cuisine restaurant. Like that's what they want. Like I mean, you settle for nachos, but you really would be great with like a fresh guacamole, a fresh something and chips.
And that's what we were talking about too. How it's so universal today.
Yeah.
Yes, it's from Mexico. They perfected it, but it's in every restaurant. Everybody loves it. Everybody wants it. It's a great happy hour item. So I just think that everybody should try it. You can't say, well, we're not a Mexican restaurant. We should go. Well, why not? Just maybe put your little spin on it. We're going to post our recipe. You don't have to follow it exactly if you don't want. I recommend you do. But if you want to put a spin on it, put a spin on it.
Yeah.
Make it yours.
I think that opens up the door for like upselling and cross-selling. So kind of going into the happy hour aspect, if you were to do almost like a bundle of, a margarita flight served with chips and guac, as you said, if that's a 10% food cost right there, you're already meeting your margin, making your margins better.
Right.
And then on the upselling in terms of like adding guac to a burger or your tacos, and then even just moving that into offering new products like a taco bowl, and really just trying to get
quesadillas.
Right.
I mean, it's endless. It's endless.
And I would definitely also recommend, I think, educating your staff a little bit. I know we talked about that before, but especially with this, I would almost do this taste test with your staff, right? Because they might think they don't like guacamole. Like, I don't love the store-bought guacamole, right? If you taste it, it's not that good.
Right.
Some people don't mind it or love guacamole so much that they'll eat it. But if you did this with your staff, it would also get them really talking about the add-on of guacamole. Because I think at times when you're, on the other side and you're a guest in a restaurant, you just hear it as like one of those things you can add on. But it's kind of like, just do you want guacamole? Well, no, I don't. But if they like knew it was good and knew it was fresh, they might sound a little more excited about that as an option.
No doubt. But where are we coming with costs, Scott? How are we looking?
I think that's
I didn't hear this part yet. I'm not really worried, but
I think that's the miss sometimes. Like avocados are so expensive. Well, they're expensive compared to a tomato, right? They're not expensive compared to buying it pre-made. They're just expensive to compare to some of the other things we have in the kitchen. So as we talk about like managing inventories like that, avocado, is one of those things we actually make sure we're doing, but it's not that they're overly expensive when it comes down to it. No, so we basically had, again, we broke it up per ounce because you might put 2 ounces on a burger, you might put 2 ounces aside, and your guacamole side might be 8 ounces. Mm-hmm. So it depends on what you're trying to use it for. But per ounce, a store-bought is about 40 cents an ounce, where the one we made is about 15 cents an ounce. Wow. So again, another really big price difference. So again, even as you get into like 4 ounces, and you're talking about $1.60 versus 60 cents. Add some chips in there, depending on if you're making your own chips, getting store-bought chips. I think anywhere from 75 cents to maybe $1.50 for chips, again, depending on your portion size. Everyone has so many varieties on how many you're giving. Again, like it's kind of a home run appetizer, a home run small plate. It can be a great happy hour edition that you could put it up for $5 or whatever you want to do.
And the great part about it, everything's on your line. Right. Only thing you haven't touched is the avocado until they order it. Mm-hmm. Right. And then, you determine on whether it's 1 avocado, it's 2, it's 3, how big you want the size to be. So everything's on the line. It comes in, it takes 2 seconds. You cut the avocado, you take it out, you put the other ingredients, you mix it, you send it out.
Yeah.
I mean, literally in a minute, you would have it out the door. Less than a minute. That's if you,
Right.
you know, you
That's
start coughing.
That's
or
if Chris is
something.
not working the line. Yeah.
Right.
Some rookie out there, maybe.
Give them a minute, right? And
Yeah.
they'll get it out the door.
Yeah.
That's if you're not doing table side. I strongly recommend if you can, if you have that type of restaurant, do it.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you get a chance to do anything table side, it just, you know, your guests become part of, you know, the whole atmosphere. They enjoy it. They feel like, you know, it's a you know, dinner and a show.
Yeah.
It's great. You know.
And what might be fun to try if you have never done tableside in your restaurant would be make it an event, right? Say tonight we have
Right.
tableside, but it doesn't have to be every night, right? So if it doesn't
Right.
work and it's an epic failure
Right.
and the guy making guac walks out, it's okay, right? Like no harm, no foul. The event is now over. But
Right.
you know, I mean, if it works, and then you could always continue it.
Right.
But there's also something to be said with it being an LTO or an event
Right.
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we're big here. We talk about LTOs all the time because it doesn't lock you into anything.
Yeah.
But it's a great opportunity to talk about it when people come in your restaurant, right? You get your servers, you get your person at the door to talk about it. So that's why we're big on it. It makes recognition. It brings people's attention to it.
Yeah. And plus it's Instagrammable, right? Like,
Yeah.
Sure.
It's very
It's
pretty to look
great.
at.
Yeah. I think it's a great fresh ingredient. It's super easy, I think, to promote in terms of not only the visual aspect, but utilizing, you know, keywords of like fresh ingredients, you know, something that's refreshing for the summer.
Homemade.
Right. And I think, especially now that we're into the summer, depending on where you're at, it's a healthier option. So,
Mhm.
you know, it reaches another type of consumer. And then also just piggybacking off of that, you're giving the vegetarians and vegans another option on your menu.
Which is
Yeah.
big, right?
Yeah.
That's huge to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say is the biggest challenge? Say I'm a restaurant, I've always had store-bought just because I didn't know any better. I want to go to fresh, but I'm a little afraid of it. What's the biggest
I said the
challenge?
biggest challenge is having ripe avocados in. I mean, that's the biggest challenge. This time of year, it's not too much of a challenge. But as you know, we start getting into colder weather, it can be if you're not thinking ahead, right? You have to think ahead, buy ahead. You know, these avocados I buy this week, I'm not using them next week. So you just plan it out, you'll be fine. But if you, just like anything else, if you don't plan it out, it's not going to be fine.
Yeah.
But you plan it out that I got, you know, I need 5 cases, I guess, for a week. I have 5 cases for next week.
Right.
And then I know I need 5 more cases for the following week. And you just stay ahead that way. Because once you get them in up to hard, it's going to take a week to get them to where you're ready to use them. So if you plan it out, you'll be fine. But that's the most difficult challenge because, Scott, you see, it's not hard.
No, the prep was super simple.
Right.
The mixing was super simple.
You know, you guys get a chance to see it on YouTube. It wasn't hard at all.
Yeah.
You know, anybody could do it. Anybody in your restaurant, you can teach a server to do it. It's really that easy.
Nice.
I tried to teach Scott, but
I'd rather just watch sometimes. You know what I mean?
I tried
Chris
to
has
give him
such
an
nice,
apron.
Yeah.
nice technique. I didn't want to ruin his rhythm, so I just figured I
I
would
gave him an
direct.
apron and everything. He said, "Whoa!" He said, "What's this?" So I was getting some help. I had to do it all by myself.
Yeah, I wanted to prove how easy it was
Oh,
to have
no,
one
it
person. I didn't want to think restaurants have to have 2 of us to working on just guacamole. So
All right. Yeah. That might have been sent the wrong message. Okay.
from a productivity standpoint, I want to make sure that they realize that we were
That you're out. I got it.
Yeah. And from a customer standpoint, I think like we've gone to many times, if your guacamole is fresh, I think there's confidence that the rest of your food you're putting out is fresh.
Yes.
Yeah. We always go back to that, right? If you're
Yeah.
serving fresh ingredients, you're doing everything right. You're not cutting corners. You're not taking
Right.
shortcuts. You know, your customers are what you're thinking about. Like we want to give them a great product. And that's what it's all about. Whenever you have somebody in the kitchen, our focus is we want to put a great product out. And, you know, they see that, they feel that, it makes them keep coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say the challenge is to, if you have any sort of guacamole in your restaurant right now, to taste it, right? If you're listening to this, go have a taste and see what you think and see if there's a way to elevate it and make it as fresh as possible for your restaurant.
And we're going to post the recipe we use. I recommend that you use it. It's a great recipe. Tons of flavor. Tons of flavor.
It was really good. All right. Well, thanks. This was another great episode.
Enjoyed it.